What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine. And for new crew members, Kobe Bryant Film Room, awesome channel that he has, along with Big Dog Talk Sports. Both have great channels, so subscribe to them. But they are now members of the Behind the Bench podcast. And for everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench and continue supporting Behind the Bench. Become a subscriber and help make this show the best that it can be. And with your continued support, we have now reached we're getting close to that magic number, let me just say, of subscribers that we're looking to achieve. We have over 500 some subscribers now, and close to 100 or possibly over 150,000 views. And you making it possible. It's a winning combination, and we thank you. We thank you. Now, as I've been doing this week, I know I've been talking a lot about the Los Angeles Lakers because a lot of people talking about the Lakers. And what's funny is, look, I've enjoyed watching the NBA for a very long time. And there's been peaks and valleys, highs and lows, as a fan of this team and as a fan of basketball as a whole. But that's what you embrace. That's what solidifies your status as a long-standing fan. That's what it's about. And therefore, when you approach it like that, you develop a great appreciation for history. To where you cherish your time and years of watching this league, great teams, great players, arch rivals, big time moments, as they say, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. You go through it all, right? So what I'm getting at is, and I really do appreciate whoever's tuning in when they respond to our videos and provide their comments. What I notice is when someone gives a historical account that's not based on opinion, but historical account, people appreciate that. And that's the goal of this channel. That's what we try to do. But I want to rewind the clock because we're fast approaching 2024. I want to rewind the clock back to the summer of 2017, where we witnessed, and I know it's just summer league, but when you're referring to young talent entering the NBA, to this date, more than 6 years ago, we saw the best, most exciting summer league tournament ever. You want the proof? Well, the ratings for that year's summer league increased by 112% from the previous year in 2016. 112%. I just looked it up. You want to know why? Because that summer league showcased the best young core entering and continuing to be built up in the NBA. Thomas and Mack Center. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Lakers young core. I'm not referring to the G League per se. I'm referring to the young players from the Lakers who competed in that tournament and won, went undefeated. Went undefeated. And that offseason, the Lakers drafted 4 players. 4, not 1, not 2, 4. Lonzo Ball with the number 2 pick. Josh Hart. Kyle Kuzma, who people had never heard of before, and Thomas Bryant. You drafted a guard, 2 wings. Kyle Kuzma is 6'10", 6'9", 6'10". Josh Hart about 6'5". Thomas Bryant. People forget Thomas Bryant played 1 year at the University of Indiana and was shooting 40% from 3 his freshman year. And if I'm not mistaken, he led all centers in the NCAA in college basketball his freshman year in 3-point shooting. And the Lakers drafted him. We know about Lonzo Ball. And we know he had the unorthodox shooting form, which he corrected years later after he was traded to New Orleans. Josh Hart, who was coming off a national championship at Villanova, and Kyle Kuzma. They said Kyle Kuzma was such a rare find that he was like a diamond in the rough. And they drafted 4 of them. Now, mind you, Brandon Ingram, Ivica Zubac participated in that tournament as second-year players, along with the Alex Caruso of the world, who also participated in that. Now, I just mentioned that the ratings increased 100, not 50%, 112%. That Laker young core was responsible for generating sellout crowds at the Thomas & Mack Center in UNLV. It felt like an actual professional basketball game regular season. That's what it felt like. And looking back on it, there was more genuine excitement and enthusiasm and anticipation for their summer league team or their summer league tournament than this annual inaugural in-season tournament that we just witnessed about 3 weeks ago. And I'm telling you, as a Laker fan, I was so excited about what we were seeing. I came up with the impression that, wow, we hit the jackpot. And there were no Laker fans who was disregarding that young talent. Not in 2017. No way, Jose. No. I remember what was being said. Do you realize years later, when they started to get rid of a lot of the young core players, the Brandon Ingrams, the Lonzo Balls, the Julius Randles and whatnot, Kyle Kuzma said, and this was during the year of what turned out to be the bubble, Kyle Kuzma said that he thought that the Lakers, with their young core, with him included, was on the precipice of building a dynasty. That's what Kyle Kuzma said. Even when he was on a team that was win now, he still felt a deeper connection with his real teammates. And see, the beautiful thing about when a franchise is starting over and you're bringing in new talent, well, roles start to be defined, as their journey begins, right? And just through natural repetition of practicing and playing games and competing, you find out who becomes the natural leader of the team, right? Or the natural go-to guy. And they grow together at their own pace, at their own rate, where they come of age at their own time. When that is disrupted, you essentially, how can I say this? It's almost like you take the soul away from the franchise, especially when they're supposed to represent the future going into the next decade. Now, mind you, I just mentioned that the ratings increased by 112% from the previous year. That's how much basketball fans that were not even supporters of the Lakers, they were tuning in to watch that Laker young core. And as they would claim the championship, don't take my word for it, I'm going to play actual video, audio footage from Magic Johnson himself and what he said about that young core. Check this out. I'm finna play it right now. I'm finna cue it up. 1 second. I'm about to cue it up. Just listen to what he say. This is Magic Johnson, people. Check it out.
Magic Johnson, please come in here. Magic, you took over the reins to bring relevancy back to the Lakers. How's the first ever Lakers Summer League title for a start?
Well, it feels good. When Rob and I took over, when Jenny Buss hired us, we strive for excellence. We wanted to talk about doing things the right way. We wanted to talk about winning and building a winning tradition. And it started with these young men tonight winning the Summer League. And then it has to carry over to our summer workouts and then in the training camp, exhibition season, and then in the next season. And so the Lakers are back. We're going to try to make sure we build and grow. And we're going to have a great year, but also build toward having sustainability so that we can have a lot of great years.
Now, you called Lonzo Ball the new face of the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma, the new championship game summer league MVP. How proud are you of these two rookies?
Well, I'm proud of both of them. You know, both of them came out here with their teammates and played team basketball. You only get awards when you win. So they both led our summer league team to the championship, but you know we're building, and we got another great face of the Lakers in BI because we're looking forward to him, Brandon, having a great year. So you know we got a lot of great faces here, young people who are going to lead the Lakers, and we got a lot of great veterans: Brook Lopez, Julius Randle, Larry Nance. All those guys are at home, and then we just signed KCP. So the Lakers are just moving forward. We're growing. We got an excellent strategy and game plan. Now all we have to do is go out and execute. That's what it's all about.
Thanks, Magic.
All right, thank you.
And once.
Now that was Magic Johnson right after they won the Summer League championship, and they brought the trophy out mid-court, and you heard the words of Magic Johnson. Now let's just think about this. They won the Summer League championship right after drafting 4 new players to their roster, right? And all the buzz, the people, I'm looking at the video right now. You got Laker fans. They didn't leave right after the game. They stand there in the crowd to show appreciation for what was to be the future of this franchise. You see, to where, as I mentioned, the journey starts to find out what role is best suited for which player. And that was the beauty of it. When you disrupt something like that, it leads to what's been happening to this franchise ever since they mortgaged off that young talent. And you mean to tell me now one of those players was good enough to remain on this team? All of them had to be let go or traded off? It don't make sense. It's not even based on logic. There is no logic in what has happened. None. And look where the Lakers are right now. As I speak, the Lakers just lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who is in first place in the West. And what's crazy is a lot of the players that the Lakers have on their team right now, Minnesota moved on from. Minnesota improved. And they sit in the top of the conference right now as we speak. And they're legit because they stuck with their core players. And then they brought in the complementary players, the pieces that they need to bring in to improve the team to help take it to the next level. The Lakers drafted 14 deep. That's unheard of in professional basketball. Even with the Oklahoma City Thunder, what they're doing right now, they're number 2 seed, by the way. Nobody's laughing at them no more. They stay with their young core players. Remember a couple years ago when they was acquiring all them draft picks after trading away their top players? They was the butt of jokes. Nobody's laughing right now because they saw a vision that the so-called experts didn't see. And they fulfilled that. They saw it through. You see? But the Lakers was ahead of the curve. All these teams that were starting over during that period, they was ahead of the curve. Plus they had their draft picks and they had their cap space. But they went the wrong direction, and now the franchise is operating backwards because it's trying to catch up to the rest of the top teams in the conference. We ain't even talking about championship. We just talking about getting to the playoffs. This is what happens when you mortgage off your future. Now, once again, I want to play what Magic Johnson said. I'm going to finish this video off. I'm going to finish this video. And I do appreciate whoever, tunes in and watch this. I'm really trying to set a picture to get people to understand what the Lakers gave up. See, it goes beyond the young core. The young core is the representation of setting that foundation for the future. Then at that point, the stars was lined up to bring the right star player to this franchise when the time was right for them to do it. You see, everything was set perfectly for this franchise to return back to the top within 5 years after Kobe Bryant retired. The late, great Kobe Bean Bryant. Listen to what he said again.
To one more person, Magic Johnson, please come in here. Magic, you took over the reins to bring relevancy back to the Lakers.
I'm looking at the crowd right now. It's filled up. Nobody left the crowd. Nobody left the arena. It was so much excitement. I'm telling you, I hadn't felt excitement like that. In terms of like when you know you have to start over again. Okay, after Showtime ended in 1993 when it officially ended, and when they started drafting Nick Van Exels and Eddie Jones and Anthony Peelers and George Lynch's, there was an excitement. You was excited. This was what that was times 10. That's what this was right here. Check it. Wait a minute.
How's the first ever Lakers Summer League title for a start?
Well, it feels good. When Rob and I took over, when Jenny Buss hired us, we strive for excellence. We wanted to talk about doing things the right way. We wanted to talk about winning and building a winning tradition. And it started with these young men tonight winning the Summer League. And then it has to carry over to our summer workouts, and then in the training camp, exhibition season, and then in the next season. And so the Lakers are back. We're going to try to make sure we build and grow, and we're going to have a great year, but also build toward having sustainability so that we can have a lot of great years.
Now, you call Lonzo Ball the new face of the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma, the new championship game summer league MVP. How proud are you of these two rookies?
Well, I'm proud of both of them. You know, both of them came out here with their teammates and played team basketball. You only get awards when you win. So they both led our summer league team to the championship. But we're building, and we got another great face of the Lakers in Bi, because we're looking forward to him, Brandon, having a great year. So we got a lot of great faces here, young people who are going to lead the Lakers, and we got a lot of great veterans: Brook Lopez, Julius Randle, Larry Nance. All those guys are at home, and then we just signed KCP. So the Lakers are just moving forward. We're growing. We got an excellent strategy and game plan. Now all we have to do is go out and execute. That's what it's all about.
See, this the thing. Here's what I keep alluding to. He just said that their young core is supposed to lead the Lakers into the future. That's what that was their destiny. And that destiny got broken. Okay, let's check this out. You see how people complain about the Lakers now, or fans complain about the Lakers saying, oh, they don't play no defense, they don't play hard, trade this guy, trade that guy. Because they're one game over 500 as of right now. One game over 500. They're like in 10th place. 10th. When the so-called experts said that the all-season moves that the Lakers made was the best in the league, and they was on their way to a championship. 4 months later, they're calling for trades because the moves ain't going to hold up. None of these moves, all-season moves they've been conducting since that bubble, even the year of the bubble, they didn't hold up because a lot of them players that was on that team, they was gone after that year. Nobody ever said that their young core didn't give 150% on that court. They didn't play hard, that they didn't compete. Because they didn't have no veteran like a playmaker, like a Chris Paul, like when Chris Paul was traded to OKC for that 1 year, and he led that team with a very young Sage Gilgeous-Alexander to the playoffs. Where Chris Paul believed he was runner-up to MVP that year to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Think about it. It's a safe bet to conclude that Sage Gilgeous-Alexander learned a tremendous amount from Chris Paul. Well, that Laker young core, they didn't have nothing like that. Yes, like you said, they brought in a KCP. That was a good low-key signing. You know what I'm saying? But KCP was he's like a two-guard. He's not a playmaker. And he was a younger type veteran. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have, and by that time, remember, they traded Lou Williams, I believe, to the Houston Rockets. And that's how they got the number 2 pick that year to draft Lonzo Ball. And like I said, I'm going to break the production of every player down as we move forward into the future. But that Laker team didn't have that. They had to go out there on their own, rep their jersey. Now, mind you, remember what people were saying about that young core the year before they brought this guy to the team? If that Laker team was in the Eastern Conference rather than the Western Conference, that Laker team would have made the playoffs. I'm talking about like Kyle Kuzma rookie season, Josh Hart rookie season, Lonzo Ball rookie season, Thomas Bryant rookie season. Brandon Ingram was a second-year player. Ivica Zubac was a second-year player. Julius Randle was technically entering his third year of availability in the league after missing his rookie year due to that leg injury he suffered. Then you still had Jordan Clarkson, you still had Larry Nance. Because if I'm not mistaken, Jordan Clarkson came in the same year as Julius Randle, and then Larry Nance was drafted in 2015 out of the University of Wyoming. But when they took that next step, that was like they drafted Ingram and Zubac in 2016, and then boom, they cashed in so good it was frightening. And they finished undefeated in the summer league. They generated all this buzz, and all the people that was covering the NBA all said that the Lakers had the best young core in basketball. Facts. No exaggeration. So when people now, 4 or 5 years down the line, to try to rationalize what's going on now and the moves that they made to sit there and conclude that they weren't no good. How can they be no good when they were literally identified as the best young core in basketball? And if their team was playing in the Eastern Conference, they would have made the playoffs off their sheer raw talent. And throughout their season, I've been mentioning, they generated a 10th ranked defense that was led by young core players. Never seen before. Revolutionary. And they competed in the majority of those games where they finished the season with a point differential of only -1. They was actually ahead of the curve. Remember what Kevin Durant said about Brandon Ingram? After competing against him a number of times, he said Brandon Ingram reminded him of himself when he was that age, starting his career out. That's what Kevin Durant said. Kevin Durant has not said it about another player since. What I'm trying to say is, outside of that one season that culminated in that bubble, the Lakers' record is below 500 in every. I mean, when you combine the records of all the seasons, the one season prior to and every season since, they have a cumulative losing record. The Lakers can go. They can win 45 games this year and will only be 500 outside of that 1 year. That's how much we mortgaged off. You make a move like this, when you throw all your chips in the middle of the table, that's exactly what you do. And like I said, we'll never know. People can say, well, they never would have won anything if they would have played here. But see, you can't say that because we'll never know, because they weren't given a chance. It wasn't like they was here for 6 or 7 years and then, they never got nowhere. No. The fact of the matter is, this team has been underperforming. And the 1 year so-called success, it was built off of trading away their young talent. That's what it was built off of. But that's what they missing most now, because as I've been saying, the young players that they brought in this offseason, they can't measure up to who the Lakers drafted during that 4-year period from 2014 to 2018. What I'm trying to say is, I believe what Kyle Kuzma said about their young core if they had been allowed to stay together and grow as a unit at their own natural rate. And you add the right star player to that and continue drafting talent, I believe the Lakers could have became exactly what he said he believed. Think about it. Kyle Kuzma was involved in the practices, before all this started. He saw what was on display. That's what led him to reach that conclusion. And now the Lakers are struggling. And people, once again, 30-some games into the season, calling for trades. But to do that, now we're talking about mortgaging off the entire decade that will roll over into the next decade. That's what the Lakers are looking at. And it's all because they relinquished the prized possession of having the best and proven to be, pound for pound, the best young core that's ever been drafted. And I'm going to break it down player by player down the road within the next, very, very soon, I should say. I don't want to give a specific timetable because I want to make sure all this is right. I don't want to exaggerate anything. I don't want to overlook anything. But you go back to that summer league, and it felt so good, man. It gave you tingles. That's why that crowd reacted the way they did. And that's why Magic Johnson said what he said. So I just want to drop that nugget. And until next time, this is JB for B TB, Behind the Bench.